Welcome to Novel Hour, everyone. It's our live show. We gather here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Time, 12 noon New York time, depending on where you are in the world, and we share some themed recommendations with you. Now, today we're celebrating all things Irish, all things Ireland, St. Paddy's, and all the things. So you're going to get some classic Irish literature today, okay, that is not James Joyce. So that was my only assignment. I'm not recommending Joyce to you here today, even though Joyce is the most famous author out of Ireland. You're going to get some cozy mysteries from Laura, and you're going to get some paranormal from Francesca. But before we get into it, we have some shameless plugs. Okay, the spring reading guide is here, everyone. If you haven't already, head on over to my Substack at Biblio Lifestyle and download your copy. There's a link to the Substack in the video's description, so head on over there. You can also go to springreadingguide.com. That will take you to the landing page on my website, where you will find the link to head on over to Substack. But if you want to download the PDF, go to Substack. Also, the Spring Reading Challenge. I have a video up on that on the channel as well. So be sure to check that out and join the subscribe to the channel and join the challenge. Laura has some great new exciting things. Laura, what do you have going on?
So I'm very excited to share that the podcast, after a brief hiatus, is back with book recommendations. We're doing bite-sized 10 to 15-minute episodes daily, where we topple in your TBR with 3 to 4 book recommendations a day. So we have a little bit of, we got the spring reading guide, we got upcoming episodes, we got cottagecore, spring feeling, we got smart beach reads, and many more episodes to come. Oh, and we got Victoria came by and talked about spring classics to read. So that's coming up.
Yes, check that out. And Francesca, you have new things on Substack too.
Yes. So on Substack last week, I posted the kind of like the March reading guide, let's say. So I talked about tropes, spring tropes, and like things that I think that are perfect to read for the season. And I also have some recommendations for each of the tropes that I talked about, plus also some March new releases that I recommend and some Kindle Unlimited recommendations as well.
Yes, so see lots of spring themed content and just content in general, okay? So find us on Substack so you can download the reading guide, you can get Laura's podcast, and you can also get Francesca's trope guides and just everything spring themed. If you're just joining us, welcome to our Thursdays live. It's our lunchtime live. We go live every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time. If you're just joining us, let us know in the comments where you're joining us from. Let us know what you're doing, what you're reading. If you're at work in the cubicle, it's okay. We won't tell your boss, all right? Just keep the headphones in. But we're going to get into the book recommendations now. We're going to be sharing all things Irish, Ireland, and all the good stuff. I'm going to start with classics. Laura will share some cozies, and then Francesca will get into the paranormal. So I'm going to kick these lovely folks off, and we're going to get into some Irish classics. Now, I wanted to share some Irish classics literature, Irish classic literature with you today. Yes, tongue twisters. I don't know why my tongue is twisting today, but yes, I want to share some wonderful Irish classic literature that isn't from James Joyce. Now, Joyce is known as, you know, the most prolific, most well-known Irish author, but I wanted to share something different with you today. And then I found myself saying, well, I can focus on female authors as well, because that is also something I'm very passionate about. So the first book I want to share with you today is Circle of Friends by Maeve Binchy. Now, the setting for this one is a small Irish town. And what I love about this town is that it just kind of gives me everything I remember about growing up in a small town. You have the warmth, but you have lots of gossips and lots of secrets, right? So folks come around, have a cup of tea, and, you know, you're literally spilling the tea. So that's what you can expect in this one. So at the core, we're following a group of young friends whose lives kind of intertwine with each other in unexpected ways. Now, our main character, we see her experiencing the joys of first love, but also the sting of betrayal. Also, while trying to find her own path in life, while also dealing with the pressures from her family and society. So, you know, this is definitely a more coming of age kind of story. But what makes this book so memorable, I feel, is just the way the author does a really great job at just painting a very vivid setting. So you're going to feel like you're right there. You're sitting down, you're having a cup of tea, you're sharing the gossip, but you're also experiencing all the laughs, all the heartbreaks, the betrayals, all the negative things. And there is a twist of fate with the characters that happens in there as well. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's just very well done. The author also builds really great tension in this one. So we kind of get little conflicts, and it takes us up the roller coaster, and then boom, we get that clarity. So just when you kind of feel like the tension, I can't take any more, you're going to get your result. Then you're going to get something hopeful and meaningful and lots of redemption. So if you want a story that kind of feels like a conversation with friends, if you love that, an old friend, and you're having a heart-to-heart, but also having some humorous moments as well, I think this book is for you. You're going to feel, again, like you're part of this tight-knit circle of friends. So again, of course, I highly recommend Circle of Friends by Maeve Binchy. Okay, the second book I want to share with you, we're going back in time. We're going back into 18th century Ireland, because that's where this one is set. And the book I'm talking about is Castle Rancrent by Maria Edgeworth. Now, this is a brilliant satire, but we're also going to get that social commentary as well. Like I said, set 18th century Ireland, and it tells a story of this once grand Irish estate that is crumbling, okay? It's falling apart, but it's not just falling apart physically. I feel like it's also mirroring the decline of the owners, right? So we're getting an old aristocratic family, and of course, you know, life isn't what it used to be. So, you know, their life is falling apart. The physical structure of the estate is also falling apart. So through the story, we're kind of following this family, you know, their misadventures, they're very eccentric as well. And we also see how just their selfishness and them just being all about themselves and not caring about anyone else or anything else, and also just their incompetency leads to just chaos at every turn. That's where you get the satire bit. But you also get the social commentary as well, because it's not just about this single family. It's not just about a single individual. We're actually seeing the nation of Ireland transforming at the same time. So we see the author kind of using irony and humor to expose just the change of the old world order of Ireland at the time. And it creates tension in a way that also mirrors, like I said, that this family's physical estate, like their family home, we see that crumbling as well as a family crumbling, which is kind of mirroring the shift of society in Ireland at the time. So you can expect a story that is, yes, you know, it's old, it's 18th century, but it's very entertaining. It's also very enlightening to what was happening at the time. And we have characters that are very much flawed, but they're very fascinating as well. So you're going to go on a roller coaster ride of scandals, because I mean, look, you know, those old families who are just very self-involved, you're going to find that there's lots of, like I said, they're incompetent. There's lots of mismanagement of their lives. But you're going to also get that old world charm, because I kind of think, you know, it's a bit charming as well. There is a surprise twist in this one as well. And we do get a glimmer of hope at the end. So it kind of reminds you that even though, you know, you or your home or maybe, you know, just everything around you is in decline, there is a possibility of renewal. Now, this one is more of, I'm going to say a modern classic, okay? I feel like if you want to read Irish literature and you want to get a good foundation, I also feel you need to read Edna O'Brien. Something about this author's writing just really is very raw and compelling and all this stuff. So I want to recommend The Country Girls to you. Now, full disclosure, there is a trio of stories here, but we're going to focus on the first. So this one is, like I said, just very raw and just riveting at the same time. It's a coming of age story that takes you into the lives of two young women. We see them growing up, but they also want to break free of the confines of the community they're growing up in rural Ireland. So in a way, it's a story about growing up, but it's not just about that. It's about also some rebellion. There's rebellion in there as well. Them awakening to what the world is truly outside of their community as well, and also discovering their identity. So anyway, we see our main characters leaving their small town. They're in search for something bigger and better and, you know, more grand. But anyway, as they go on their adventures, we see it's fraught with challenges. Of course, there's love, there's betrayal, there's just a harsh reality of the society that isn't ready for them and their dreams. Just these girls are clearly ahead of their time. So the author Edna O'Brien just really does a great job of building tension with these girls, both their internal struggles, but also the external things of, coming from this small town, Ireland, at the time, and just everything that is conflicting with them, being told what they can and can't do. And there's just lots of emotional twists. This one really takes you on a roller coaster ride. But again, we do have those feel-good moments. There are acts of kindness. We see these girls having fierce determination. And it really begs you to question, like, what truly is the price of independence? Again, with the backdrop of Irish society and life. Again, I love Edna O'Brien, okay? I will read ever and anything. That's just, I don't know, I'm very passionate about her work. But there you have it, 3 Irish authors that are not James Joyce that are also women. Okay, can we just throw one up there for them as well? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear, how do you feel about these books? If they've been on your reading list, are you going to add them to your reading list? Also, if you have any Irish recommendations that are not James Joyce, I would love to hear from you. But in the meantime, let me bring my friends up so I can hear what they have to think. But I just feel those 3 are really good foundational Irish books that you can read. Have you all heard of any of these?
I haven't, but that Edna O'Brien sounds really, really good.
No, she's brilliant. She's really, really, really great.
I did read some Mae Finchie back in the day. I think she was selected for an Oprah book at one point, if I remember correctly. Their name is familiar. But I love that you feature female authors because they need more love. It's so quick to be like, oh, James Joyce, the white man, but let's give other voices.
I started putting together a list because also, spoiler alert, on Substack on Friday, I will be sharing more Irish literature that's not Joyce. And while I was doing that, obviously, there's so many other wonderful authors out there, but I'm like, everybody knows about the men, okay? Flann O'Brien, Yeats, who is poetry, Beckett as well. There are lots of people out there. But I'm just like, let's do something different. So I hope you all appreciate the recommendations. But that's a foundation. Now we're going to get into some fun, okay? Because Laura is coming through with the cozy mysteries. So Laura.
I am very excited, just always, to talk about cozy mysteries, cozy rom-coms, cozies. So today I am going to talk about 3 cozy mysteries. 2 are set in England and Ireland, and 1 is set in the US, but they all have some sort of Irish going on. So the first one is Death of an Irish Droid. I don't know how to say the word, by Katie Murphy. So in this one, it's set in Ireland. Our amateur sleuth is Megan. She's a Dublin limo driver, and her friends from America are coming to visit her. And she's like very excited to share all the things Ireland, because as one does, she's just like, I want to share all my town. And so lo and behold, she catches the Irish droid murder in the street. And she's like, what is going on? So the state police considers this an accident. She's like, I've known this. I've done these cases before. This is not an accident. And lo and behold, he was involved in a country, rewild the country, state, and landscaping conservationists. And there's like a whole underworld mystery going on. And so there's secrets. There's trying to figure out who did what. It's toxic surprising emerging out of the state. So Megan has the work cut out and how to find a killer. And she does. So that's the good news. So that's Death of an Irish Droid by Katie Murphy. So if you want to get some Irish cozy mysteries, this is one series for you. Now we're going to go to the US, and we're going to go to one of my favorite series that I actually go time and time again, and I just look forward for new installments, and that's Murder at the Blarney Bash by Darcy Hannah. This is the Beacon Bake Shop mystery. So she, the amateur sleuth, Lindsay, was a Wall Street Wall Street trader, and on a whim, her ex, I think she was at Wall Street or she was a chef or something. She was like had a powerful job in New York, and in a whim, she buys a bake shop in a lighthouse in Lake Town, Michigan. And from day one, from opening day, there's a murder, and so she's been like basically like solving murders in this town. Her friends are coming over. She has a friend who is an influencer. She finds the first book she meets her next door neighbor, who is an Irish stud who basically helps her try to figure out the issues and try to figure out the murder. And we have a Newfie as a dog, and it's like we love the dog, and he's featured in every other books. So in this case, her boyfriend's uncle decided to open an Irish gift shop in the little town, and lo and behold, there's a murder again. And she has to find it, but there's a mystery because the uncle thinks that he got a pot of gold from a leprechaun, and so there was someone dressed up as a leprechaun because there was St. Patrick's Day parade, and he hit on that the person, and he's not supposed to, obviously, because balance is not good. And so she actually has to try to solve the mystery and try to clear the Irish Uncle Finnegan's name. So yes, but this series, there's like there's spring series. The latest episode is the spring. The latest book is the spring book. But there's actually like Christmas. There's a Halloween book. So there's a lot to do. It's a fun time to be in this lakeside Michigan town. All right, so if we think about Irish cozy mysteries, we have to talk about Carleen O'Connor. She has the Little Irish Village mystery, and this installment, it's a long series, and they're still going on. And this installment is Murder in an Irish Garden. And so this is set in a small town in Kilbane, County Cork. Our amateur sleuth is not amateur. She is a police officer, or as it's called, Garda. I actually had to Google. I was like, oh, that's how they call them. And so Siobhan actually is preparing to get her detective sergeant exam. So she's actually moving up in the ladder. And so her brother, Ian, I think that's his name, how to say it, I'm not sure. So if I'm mispronouncing, I'm sorry. He's gearing up for a grand opening of a new restaurant. And as part to boost business, he joins a garden contest. And again, there's like fight among the landscaping people. I don't know what's going on with landscaping and like garden conservationists in Ireland, but there's a lot of like drama. It seems like a little mafia-esque. As someone who reads mafia on my side thing, because that's my break from the cozy mysteries. It seems to be the same way. So this one, there's actually like people are actually fighting for different things. And one of the landscapers actually stir up trouble, and competition turns deadly, and one person dies. And Siobhan, as a police, has to solve the mystery. So this series is a long-running series. So if you want to go down to Ireland in a little village town, picturesque, this series is for you. There's plenty of installments that you can just feed yourself. So you had a couple Irish mysteries, but you also got some St. Patrick's Day mysteries, and I do have more available on the blog.
Technology isn't working with me today.
It's okay. I just say you look pretty.
Oh my gosh.
So fun.
It is. Carleen O'Connor is definitely a staple, I feel, when it comes to cozy mysteries, but I also know her for the Irish stories. So yeah, I definitely endorse that one, even though I haven't read her books. What did you think, Fran?
Also, I totally think that we needed a separate batch of Irish mafias.
Yes, I think I'm going to do that for the podcast. So be tuned. We're going to have an Irish mafia because I do have a whole set. So we're moving from the conservationist, from the little garden mafia to the actual mafia.
That is so cool.
It's coming in the next couple of weeks. Don't worry.
She really does read these mafia stories, y'all, because we get texts about them.
Yeah, I do. I like a morally great hero. Like, there's nothing wrong. He's like, you give book recommendations. He unalives other people.
Totally fine.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that one. Okay, so Fran is going to be sharing paranormal.
Yes. Yeah, so I actually have a whole list of romances that are set in Ireland, but I wanted to focus today on paranormals that are set in Ireland. So I have 3 books to share with you guys. One is a paranormal romance, one is an urban fantasy, and one is a romantasy. So, and all of these are set in Ireland. They all are full series that you can dive into. The first one, not necessarily the whole series is set in Ireland, but I highly recommend the whole series. So, but you can read all of them as standalones if you don't want. Technically, no, one you do need to continue. It's a full series. So let's get started with the first one, which is paranormal romance, and it's Kiss of Fate by S. Young. So this is Samantha Young's pen name where she writes paranormal. And this was originally published as Kiss of Vengeance, I think. So if you've seen it with a different name, it's the same book. And it's book 2 in the True Immortality series. But you can read it, you can read this one totally as a standalone if you want. So this one is kind of like a, there's ancient revenge grudges and some forbidden romance and lots of fae drama. So we have Finn Moore, the hero of the story. He was once the High King of Ireland. He's a fierce warrior, protector of his people, and he was forced into servitude to the Fae Queen. And he did that for centuries. And now he is planning his revenge against the Fae Queen and the whole court. And then we have Rose, who is this human woman that was recently attacked by a vampire. And in the aftermath of that, she's discovered that she has these hidden powers, and now she's kind of unlocked them. So they have to work together. So they're reluctant allies. They have to work together, and Finn actually thinks that Rose is the key to his vengeance. So he's basically kind of going to use her to get to his ultimate goal. But along the way, of course, feelings develop, connections, etc., and also lots of danger around the things that they're trying to do, each of them for their own purposes. So it's a great romance with a tortured hero with a tortured past, and lots of like a simmering slow burn tension and quite a bit of action. So it's a great juicy one to get into, and like a true paranormal romance, which I really, really loved. The second book is my urban fantasy, and this is Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. It's the first book in the Fever series, and this is the one where you do need to read the whole series. But this is what I would consider a staple and a must read no matter what if you read urban fantasy. So this was kind of like a genre defining series, and absolutely love it. And basically we have our heroine, Michaela Lane, and she is just a regular 20-something woman living her best life. And then her sister is murdered in Ireland. So nothing is happening. It's lots of suspicious things. So she decides that she's going to fly over to Ireland and figure out what really happened to her sister. So when she gets there, of course, she meets some questionable people tracking down leads. And she also realizes that she has these powers that she never knew that she could do, and some of them is that she can actually see fake creatures, and they're not the cute cuddly variety. So she also meets this very mysterious man that is Jericho Barons. So Jericho Barons is quite the controversial character. Some people love him, some people hate him. I'm in the camp of hate, but I know my co-blogger loves him. We actually have a whole post on the blog, which is like all the reasons why you should love Jericho Barons. He's an asshole, but sometimes you can love an asshole. But so basically, he's very powerful, very mysterious, and he's basically working with Michaela to try to figure things out. But it's totally a person that you should not be trusting. But you definitely want to know more about him because, again, all this air of mystery around him. And Michaela is discovering this whole paranormal, supernatural world that she never knew anything about. The Fae could actually make women addicted to them and all this other stuff. So there's lots of action, lots of intrigue, a bit of a side sexual tension. So it's got some romance, but it's not super heavy on the romance, but it's still there. So that, simmering attraction is there. And I think it's a great series, no matter what, if you're into urban fantasy or if you've read fantasy and you want to get into more of an urban setting. It's definitely a great one, and it is obviously set in Ireland, which is lots and lots of fun. And then the third book is a romantasy pick, and it's Song of the Fae by Trisha O'Malley. This is the first book in the Wild Song series. And Trisha O'Malley is actually an author that you can read a lot more series that are also set in Ireland. So you can check out more of her backlist as well. This one is about Fae warriors. There's magic, enemies to lovers, of course. And it's set against the backdrop of a brewing Fae war. So we have our hero, who is Nolan. He's a warrior for the Royal Fae court. He is very loyal, duty first. And of course, no distractions like love or anything like that. And then we have Imogen, who is kind of a distraction for him because he basically steals her ship and forces her on a mission where the Dark Fae are trying to take over Ireland. So Imogen is caught in this prophecy that she wants nothing to do with, but at the same time, if she doesn't embrace her own powers, then the Dark Fae are going to destroy everything. So lots of, tension between them. There's, of course, the Fae politics, the forced proximity, and lots of prophecies and destiny and things like that. So it's a great one to get into if you love those. So I think if you're a romantasy fan and maybe you want something a little bit different, then definitely check this one out. It'll give you a little bit of different mythology as well. And it's just a lot of fun.
I like that one. That's very, very, very interesting. I'm like, oh, you want to take over the government? Sounds like my vibe.
Well,
I actually went to, because I was like, I know Trisha O'Malley. I recommended her books for other. She has written romance, like
she's written a lot.
I thought I knew that name.
Cozy mysteries. She's
Yes.
prolific. Like there's enough to
just
go down
the whole
hole.
backlist. You'll find something
If you want
want.
to go down, like perfect for mood reading because it's like she's switching genre. So you're like, I can just go down and spend a year reading Trisha O'Malley and I will not be bored.
Oh,
Totally.
That is wild, but it does sound good. So I'm really, really, really excited. That one sounds like something to add to the reading list. All right, everyone, if you're just joining us, welcome to our Lunchtime Live. Today we're sharing all things Ireland, Irish literature, and all the good stuff. If, again, you're just joining us and you missed it, we covered classics, we covered cozy mysteries, and we covered paranormal. Now, again, we come here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern time. We just did the Ireland books. Next week, we're going to be sharing women in history. So be sure that you're here next week, Thursday, 12 noon Eastern time, same place, wherever you're watching, so you can get these recommendations. The following week, we're also going to get into some books that center and feature trans joy. So again, be sure to tune in. We planned a whole year. So we have lots of content coming to you each and every week, every Thursday. So again, be sure to join us. What else is going on? Substack. We are leaving here and we're going to Substack for the after show where we're going to be sharing bonus book recommendations, what we're reading, what we're doing. And I promise I won't go on a rant about a show I watched that I didn't like. We're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it cute today. Okay. I will not rant. But head on over to Substack. You can find us on Substack, link in the video's description. And also you find one of us, you'll find all of us because we do recommend each other. So see, I'm giving you notice. Head on over to Substack, go over there now. And we are really excited to chat with you there. So, all right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.